Welcome. This is Barry Jones from Angelic Wisdom, and we're here for our weekly Ascension Angel Messages for January 20th through the 26th, 2025. So, as we start, I'd just like to thank everyone for your support and for being here each week. And if you're new to our channel, our community, welcome. If you'd like to get an angel reading with me, you can go to my current website at theangelschool.com/services. And if you'd like to make a donation to my channel, you can go to my PayPal me link for Angelic Wisdom. These links you can find in the description area beneath this video. Okay. Also, if you haven't subscribed, make sure that you do that. And be aware that like my office hours are for Saturday and maybe Friday evening, but mainly Saturday. Okay, so let's just take a deep breath together. And just relax and see or find yourself, or imagine that you are in a very enchanted forest, and that is totally wild. And you find that the trees and the brush is very high and thick. Allow yourself to meld into this web of nature and really send roots deep into the earth. And feel your roots joining with the trees and the plants, joining into this network of wisdom, of earth wisdom. Interesting. So I'm just seeing some things. So I'm sort of seeing a spacecraft, and then I'm seeing sort of a tent, almost like igloo style. And be aware of the things that you're finding in this enchanted, wild, untamed forest. So I've never seen these two things. I don't know if to take them literal or in a symbolic way. But the spacecraft was sort of landed in this thick brush, so it's surrounded by, weeds and just branches from bushes. And the tent was sort of in a more of a clearing. But it was a sense of making some interesting connections when you're out in nature, in particular at night, or while you are dreaming at night. So I would pay attention to stellar communications from beings from other stars or galaxies or other parts of the universe that might be coming through. And I'm also just flashing back to a dream I had last night, which was very challenging, actually. And I don't think it's literal, but I think it's, you know, the ego um, sort of masquerading itself in a form of fear that sort of folklore that I have grown up with in my religious upbringing, right? I'll just put it to you that way. And it kept trying to come through people in my that I'm familiar with, like family members. But I was very aware in the dream that it was not them. And somehow I felt like it was really testing us, and maybe not testing, but showing me really where my confidence and my strength was, because and in my knowing, and just because I was not afraid at all, actually. And usually sometimes when I'm have these sort of, I call it out of body experiences or altered states, dream states, where you can't move, I'm usually, if something's happening, I'm trying to fight it, resist it, um, but more afraid of it. In this sense, I was resisting it, but I was able to look it straight in the eye, so to speak. Um, so your experiences might vary, is what I'm. One of the things I'm getting at. And the other thing is, it. You know, if now in your life you're finding that you're facing some things, or some things are coming up for you, and they write the word that almost sort of makes you feel paralyzed. So that's interesting. Those states are sort of representation of things in our lives that causes us to feel paralyzed. And sometimes it could be something simple as doing a task, a very simple task, like, putting something that we keep procrastinating on and we keep putting it off. Um, and procrastination is something to really look at, because it is a form of paralysis, or emotional, mental paralysis, or a perception thing, right? And if you if you keep dealing with it the same way, which is not dealing with it until it is an emergency situation, that's not really, how do we say, growing up, evolving and moving past that thing. So it could be something as simple as that. But pay attention to the things that kind of causes you experience of paralysis in your life, like where you just can't move past that situation, in terms of how you're dealing with it. You keep dealing with it the same way. So I know this sounds like I'm just going in all kinds of directions, but I'm just following the flow here. And so last weekend I had been sick for the 2 weeks I was off, and then last weekend I had to kind of catch up on the stuff that I thought I was going to get done, and like getting my grades done, and it was a whole host of other things, like just some chores and things like that, but several things related to work. And what I would have normally done was just waited to the very last minute, um, and either it would have all gotten done, or much of it would not have. And then there's this awareness of what did I not need to really get done, that kind of thing. However, what I did for myself this time is that I handled it differently, because usually what I use to procrastinate is, say, binge watching something. And so what I did was I kind of made that a reward. So every time I did something, even if it was a portion of it, I binge watch a little bit and then I go back and do that. So, finding a way to deal with, really, it's like we have this perception of how something's going to feel and what it's going to be like and how the whole thing's going to unfold. And that is just our ego playing with us. That's our ego, basically keeping us on this loop with this particular pattern, and dealing with it in a different way, finding a way to create, for example, rewards. Everybody's situation is going to be different. Whatever the thing that causes you to sort of have paralysis, as they write, or paralyzes you, this is something that we need to deal with now, and just be aware of the messages that are coming up. One, as we are, this is going to be a year really of being on our ascension path, being really focused. So really addressing distractions. And it might not seem like an important thing in the grand scheme of things, but it really is, because we can easily get distracted from our purpose right now as light workers on the planet, showing up in your communities, in your job, for your family, and in all the other various ways that you show up throughout a day or a week, without being distracted by fear, by doubts, by insecurities, right? By things that cause us to act out or causes other reactions around you, and then that creates a distraction. Whatever it is, we need to really address it as it pertains to our ability to focus and to be fully present with our I am presence, with our higher consciousness, so that we're tapping into that higher wisdom and really bringing that in, even if it's just drip, drip for a while, until it can really flow. But depending on if it's dripping or flowing, it's depending on this distraction thing, and allowing ourselves to be paralyzed by our fears. So pay attention to your dreams. They might even feel different to you already. And what I'm getting from that vision is that just because I mentioned, stellar beings, making contact with you through your dreams, this does not mean that your dreams might all of a sudden be something, like sci-fi-ish, right? It's interesting how we separate these things into categories when your very life is sci-fi already, just by its nature. When we look through what we think is normal, when we think of normal, we think of lacking mystical experiences, and it is really not. And that is one of the forms of ego that creates separation in the divinity of your life. Your life is mystical. Your life is already sci-fi. You just have to open up yourself and through awareness. But when you're focused through fear, you don't have awareness. You have awareness of only fear, which is a limiting life experience. That is still mystical. It's still sci-fi. It's just not in capturing the full scope of every facet of life that is interacting with you and you with it. So really start paying attention to how your dreams are drawing your attention symbolically and in some ways literal. I mean, it just might be just explaining it to you, but around distractions, where you need to be, or something that you need to be aware of and trust it. It's funny, this week going to work, I had started going into work or leaving for work later because I was getting up so early and I wasn't able to get time in for spiritual practice, and it's still iffy. However, I was able since the new year to re-engage, right, and get that in, even if it's just to pull a card and take it with me or something like that and think on it. However, I started to notice, this little interaction where I will, the buses come in and I'm thinking I won't make it, and then, I discovered that if I had just taken 2 seconds to move towards it, I could have. Like something was telling me I could, and then I was telling myself, and then I realized that something's telling me I can't do these things, and so I've been noticing like, my intuition is telling me go this way, and that a bus is coming, and sure enough, it's coming, right? So pay attention, because dreams are one thing, but the Earth School is a one big dream, right? Dream world, and so pay attention, really pay attention, and don't allow yourself to get distracted by your ego. It's telling you, it's not going to work. Go for it immediately. Don't delay. Like the couple times it happened, especially yesterday, something told me to go a different way. And sure enough, the bus was coming at first, but I didn't step on it. And when I saw it coming, I ran and it left, but then it was like another block. And I just thought, I started to give up. And then there was this feeling like, no, you can make it. And although I was really out of breath, I did make it. So I don't know if you get this point, but it's like, go for it right away. That distraction is in another form could just be like all of a sudden doubting your intuition. And I really felt different, as if something was guiding me. So I'm just sharing all this with you to give you as many examples of what that might have meant, and the important lesson in it, which is the word they wrote before I started. So now that's coming back to the important lesson they were giving me. In all of that, there's a clarity that is with us, and we cannot allow ourselves to be distracted by people who are still playing the ego game, who are going to start. And it's like that dream I had. It was like the ego is going to get really interesting, and the people who are promoting fear, they're going to get interesting. But none of that matters, because your guidance is going to be clear about your life and your path, just as sure if the day was sunny versus a, we're thinking of cloudy days ahead. You are the sunlight. No matter how cloudy ego gets, And the people who are going to be trying to project the ego, you are the sun. You are bringing the light. We don't have to depend on people outside of us, our leaders, or anybody in our community to bring it. You bring it. You are bringing it. You don't have to go get it. You're already bringing it. Just don't give in or allow for distractions. Act on what you are given from your light. Don't delay. Okay, that's in. You can all go home now. All right, so let's take a look at the archangel that we're working with this week, and it's Archangel Raphael. And one of the things I get just from immediately seeing Archangel Raphael's card is this is going to be a week of healing. And it's going to be a week of healing in terms of, your consciousness, the way you see things. Um, it's your perspective. Um, you're going to see things, or you have the ability to see things differently than the way others are seeing it. And that's going to be an important part of your light activation as a light worker right now, to hold the space for the truth. But you can't get distracted by the projections of fear. But even though you might want to give in to the tendency, you're going to also be aware simultaneously of the clarity. So you're bringing the healing vibration. And the more you practice being focused and aware, the more this clarity of healing can expand. And they're writing, you'll do this by raising the frequency of the conversation, of the interaction, all right, of any connection or community that is you're encountering. The card says, see with enlightened eyes, open to abundance. So Archangel Raphael connects you with the planet Jupiter, and which is the planet of abundance. So take a moment to call in the Archangel Raphael's healing frequency and see emerald green light surrounding you completely. As soon as you do this, you automatically call in Archangel Raphael to your side. And he totally surrounds you in his wings. And if you place your hand over your heart, he will activate your heart, bring healing there to any pain or suffering that has created beliefs within you that hold you to those distractions, to your fears. He shows me a dog, which is just sort of giving me a sense of loyalty to your path and to your heart. And then a lamb, he brings also the frequency of peace. And there is that sense of simplicity, releasing and letting things go, not holding on to anything, not trying to struggle or wrestle with ideas or what people are saying or doing or not doing. Remember to call upon Archangel Raphael when you're feeling frustrated, because that's affecting the way you see the world. And when you call upon him, he automatically illuminates your third eye, your fifth dimensional third eye, is connected to the planet Jupiter of abundance. And this is the activation that we really need, the activation of unconditional love in our perception of the world. And now a unicorn, your personal unicorn, is appearing to you and lighting up. Oh, he's directing the light from his third eye, which is what creates his horn of light. And it's so bright that at first he doesn't direct it directly at you, but to the side, and then slowly brings it until it lands right in the center of your third eye. And just allow him to clear that pure white, bright light, just clear anything away from your third eye. And you can call upon your personal unicorn to help you stay fit in your perception so that you don't buy into the distractions of fear. So you don't give away your power. So working with Archangel Raphael and your personal unicorn, and other unicorns come to surround you. A ring of unicorns surrounds you now, and they are clearing away the lower frequencies, lower intentions, whether they're intentional or unintentional. And they're surrounding you in a cocoon of diamond white unicorn light. Take a deep breath and breathe this into every cell of your body. Archangel Raphael's emerald green light mixed with the pure white diamond unicorn light. And know that you are fully protected and fully aligned and at peace, and now loyal to your path of ascension. So let's look at this reading and the ways that we can heal. And working with the Nemeth Tarot, cards were laid down from right to left. So, introspection, so this is the Death card, and hopefully you guys can see clearly the titles here, but it's number 13. And this is so interesting because I think this card came up somewhere last week, and I saw a group of beings around a tree in a similar way. So this means that there's a big transition happening in this week. The start of the week is going to be a big transition for everyone around the world. And it's just really bringing us, when we have transitions, there's loss and there's gain. So ultimately, there is hope, right? There's hope. Even in our grief and our loss, deep down, at the center, at the heart of our grief, is the light of hope. And deep, deep, deep down, at the heart of our hopes and our joy, is also sorrow, a seed. And they keep one another in balance. They keep us in sort of that cycle that assures us that when we go into that cycle of grief, that we will emerge in the cycle of hope and eventual joy. Once we move through the transition and accept the loss and redirect our attention towards life and its opportunities to be gained. All right, we have the King of Swords, and this is a very interesting card. And it's like he's sitting in that beautiful enchanted forest that I was seeing before. And here we have the bottom, like sort of a crab, which is interesting for the swords, which is usually, this is an air sign. And there's a woman dressed in white beside his throne. The cave that he's in has, it seems like, reminds me of Luray Caverns, where there's all of this, these formations of like, you know, like, I don't know, crystals or icicles or something. So the water has sort of crystallized in this way around him, and you almost look like his robes too have that same flame. And there's this aura of, you know, emerald green in both of these cards. It's just really, for me, there's some kind of healing that can happen for all of us in our perception, right? The mind, there's some kind of, we have this ability to kind of, and the crab here just sort of, for me, represents, you know, water or holding emotions or, you know, protection and sort of, you know, crabs kind of, or scavengers kind of, you know, crawl the bottom of the sea. So there's this balance of, you know, of really being able to go deep, but with the King of Swords to really remain balanced. So it's a little bit of what I was saying about that seed of light, of hope, at the heart of, you know, one's grief or loss. So even though you might be going through but there's a lesson here to be learned. There's a challenge for us to remain centered and calm, to, you know, remain logical, not to allow ourselves to be drawn in to insanity, to drama that gets all, you know. And so this, protect yourself with light. And I think we've mentioned that before. This has come up, and I don't know if it's a monthly reading or something, but we need to really protect yourselves with light, with good energy, with positive people, positive circumstances. You know, there's something that keeps coming up in when I'm trying to meditate about some things I've gone through during the week at work, and just right before this, and I was doing a meditation, and then this kid came to my mind who was new to my school, and his mom works there, and in second grade, and he, you know, he had never been in a music class, and we were just had already done the preparatory work for teaching him how to come up to the board and read a score, you know, with the notes so and me, just those two notes. And I just did a little review, but he volunteered as the fourth kid, and he went up and he did it perfectly. This, you know, just made my heart just so happy, because for, you know, it's like I'm guiding them to read music, right, on the first step. And there was all this other stuff that didn't go, not a lot of things, but it was just this one other class that didn't go as well. And so my mind was fixed on what didn't. And in the meditation, my mind found this, or recalled this, and I realized, yeah, that's where I need to be focused. And so it's like this, We need to focus on the positive. We can't just let ourselves walk away with everything that's wrong and all the negative. And that's going to require some effort, right? A lot of effort and practice. What is what I mean by effort? It's going to require a lot of practice. And the more we practice this, we will learn to overcome being distracted. And once we really get into that place where we've had enough practice with holding the light for ourselves, we will hold this healing, we'll carry it within us, and it will be something that activates others. But it will also shift our lives to one of opportunities that we're manifesting and attracting towards us. So we're all probably wondering, some of us, why things have turned out the way it has turned out, and now why this change of guard. But this is to give us an opportunity to practice holding the light. It's easy to slack off when there is just joy everywhere, right? And what we don't realize, we need to practice all the time, because you're not practicing in order to hold the world up around you or to prevent things from going wrong. You're practicing so that your vibration is sort of settled into this alignment of abundance, so that only this can be what you receive. So we're looking at the next card, and it's the Six of Grails. So there's Six of Cups. And isn't that interesting, these little hearts that some woman sticks to these cards that are on the table. And so here we have that beautiful, lush sort of landscape, this forest. And this card, what my attention is drawn to is sort of this, I don't know what to call it, but a cavern or this ditch, probably be more accurate, and that's there. And it's almost like it invites us, right, to go into, that the earth has opened up a portal for us to sort of surrender to the memories that it's held for us there. A place for us to go and reconnect with our many lifetimes here on this planet. And to bring forth all of our gifts and our spiritual powers in a way, right? It's this very, very mystical setting here. So this gives me a sense of, it could be surface in the way that I just recalled to you in my meditation, how I went back in and I was struggling to meditate because all of a sudden these thoughts kept coming up about the week. And then at the end, that beautiful thing happened. And I was worried that I was not getting the energy downloads from the meditation I was doing, because I kept getting distracted by these negative sort of memories of the week. And then I could feel the energy still accumulating. So then I let go of that fear, and I just let my mind, as I'm in that meditation process, accepting that the meditation might be doing specific things that I'm trying to pay attention to, but all meditations are a healing process. And sometimes the healing process is not pretty. Like, we can't perfectly meditate, right? But whatever comes to mind and what clarity comes out of it, That's the ultimate win in a meditation. So just be aware of that as you're trying to practice um, holding space, right, for yourself, that it's not a perfect practice. It's not about being perfect at all. But if you get clarity, no matter how well you meditate, that is the healing opportunity and goal. That's the purpose. That's what you're really there for. So it goes back to trusting that you're where you need to be and being present with it so that you really can receive. All right, let's take a look at the card I already pulled from the bottom of the deck. And this is the Hangman, easy to spot. So you got some pretty heavy cards here. In one, you might want to say it that way. But this is a card that's just telling us right now to hang back, to surrender, to, and there's a lot of those symbols here. It almost looks like the staff, right, with a little bag on it. It's like the fool's, wand, and this ladder here, and there's a grail or another bag over here, and the one bag is bigger than the other, right? So this one's very heavy, and it's got this grail here, which kind of indicates, wealth, right? And here we have over here this simple cane and this small little bag, and which one put him here, or well, I don't know if that's the question here, but maybe it's the question to us. You know, um, are you carrying more than you should right now? Are you focused on more than you should be focused on? Are you being distracted by the promise of gains and big gains, etc.? And would it be better to surrender and to the those big gains and be able to walk away um, lighthearted and liberated, and just only carrying with you what you need and what's truly yours, right? And in that sense, you know, it's like the soul versus the world and material things. Don't ever compromise your soul. The fool is able to be in that state of bliss and not worried or fearful of the journey because he doesn't have too many things. He's let go of a lot before he starts on that journey. He knows what he needs, and the rest he's letting that go. He's trusting that what he needs will come. And so if we're in a place of fear right now, that we don't know what's going to come, if we're worried and we're spending all of our energy into being worried about, we don't know how things are going to be and how they're going to turn out, then you're just accumulating a lot of junk and you're bringing up a lot of old stuff that should have been buried before you started moving. So as this is still the new year, and I'm not quite sure, I think the full moon, I'm making a lot of noises here. The full moon probably should be coming up, yeah, on the 13th, so it would have passed already. So this gives us another opportunity in the week of the 20th to really let some stuff go. So, you should have been, working on, whatever you wanted with the new moon at the beginning of the year to the full moon, what you wanted to manifest. Now you should be looking at what do I still need to let go, and for that to what you want to manifest, if it's shown up, then what do you need to let go of still so that you can make more progress? If you doesn't feel like you've reached a goal, then this is an opportunity for you in the waning cycle to be like, okay, reassess. What do I need to let go of? What are my real and true priorities? So that this transition phase can be less bleak and dramatic or even traumatic. And so this is really about giving you an opportunity to pause and heal old wounds and memories. Let stuff go. You know, you're already supposed to be letting that stuff. That stuff is already in the past, but take this time with the King of Swords to, you know, to get clear, get really, really clear about what's yours and what's just somebody else's drama. What do you no longer need? And don't be afraid to go within. But on the horizon we see the sunrise. So it's either a sunrise or a sunset, right? And if you think about it, because the death card is here, it really is saying like this is something waning. So it's a sunset. Something in this week needs to go. So if there's a loss of any or something that a missed opportunity, and you feel like you lost out on something, trust that what needed to happen happened, and it happened for a reason, and that hope in the depth of that grief is the light of hope. Hold on, find it and hold on to it and ride it to the horizon. Okay? So I send you lots of love and angel blessings and have an incredible week. God bless you.